Welcome back to Mastering Menopause. On Thursday, I shared Jennifer's results using a rapid fat loss protocol. Also, Angie, she's going to be coming onto the podcast next week after she's done. She has been wildly successful as well using this protocol. Jennifer lost 6.5 pounds. Angie is down 6 pounds in her first week, which is crazy. And I am also down 7.5 pounds in 3 weeks. And there are three things that we all have in common. And I should say, everyone that has gone through this rapid fat loss protocol, there are three things that we all have in common that have led to our success. Now, I want to preface this. This is not a lifestyle. All right. I very much coach with weight loss, fat loss, that you want to have a balanced approach as you're going through this. Now, there are going to be times where we're going to get a little bit stricter and do these kinds of protocols. But for the most part, my clients are able to enjoy wine, enjoy restaurants, having nights out, and having a little bit more flexibility with their choices. So again, this is not a lifestyle. But when we go through these approaches, this is not going to be the time for wine or restaurants. So I just wanted to be clear about that, because while my coaching approach definitely supports lifestyle changes, rapid fat loss is just a completely different animal, right? It is aggressive, it is a short sprint, and it works, but you do have to be committed to it. So it's not, I wouldn't have somebody come in and be like, okay, here we go, we're gonna do this. We really have to make sure that our clients are set up for this approach. This is why very much where we have the primer phase, where we get the clients ready for this kind of approach, and then we have the discussion about what do you want to take this approach, because you do not have to, but a lot of my clients are excited to go through this. You definitely have to commit, and before you jump into a protocol like this, you want to make sure that your calendar is clear and that your head is in the game, because these next 2 weeks are going to require full focus. And so I would say the keys, there's three things that are the key to our success. And the number one thing is pre-logging every single meal for the entire week. Planning that ahead of time in advance, what this is going to look like. This is not just the night before, I'm going to see what I'm going to have. No, this is, okay, I'm starting this on Monday. This looks like on Friday, I am going to start putting things into my numbers, into my Fitness Pal, seeing what works, and then making sure that you have the foods that are going to be available to you. So shopping for that. And just planning that out for the entire week so that there is no room for having to make decisions, right? All you have to do is open MyFitnessPal and see, what are we having for breakfast? What are we having for lunch? What are we having for dinner? And that's it, right? And then you just eat what's there. This is so helpful. Now, I do recommend that my clients do this on a lesser level. I say, hey, plan your day out the night before. That way you know what's available to you. You're working for what's in your refrigerator or working around events. But this is very much tailored to, this is what we are doing for the next week. And then you can just repeat that week, or you can make adjustments the following week. Say, you know what, these 3 meals were great, but I think I want to switch it up. So I know I have done this in the past before, where I was just really sick of meal prep. When I was getting ready for my first photo shoot back in 2020. And I was just having the same meals, and finally I need to do something different. So I think I did like a Mexican week, and then I did an Italian week, and then I did a Greek week. So I just was having the same foods, but I was just changing up the flavors. And so this is just 2 weeks, right? It's 14 days. So I recommend having meals that you enjoy, yes, so that you can do on the repeat. And so this is where it comes into the planning aspect. So for myself, I have found that like 99% lean turkey is my friend. Same with tuna and egg whites. And so I'm bringing those in. Oh, and chicken thighs. So those have been like my 4 staples of this fat loss phase. And so I'm just working that in rotation. Now with the ground turkey, my first week I was into like a stroganoff kind of deal going on with the turkey. Just brown that up, add in a little bit of Greek yogurt because it's kind of like sour cream. And then I was doing beef gravy. And so that just gave it like a little bit of a stroganoff thing taste. And then I was serving that over egg noodles. I'm putting that into air quotes. I found egg life wraps and take 2 of those wraps and then just cut it into ribbons and then put that in. And so that was like my noodles. So I did that for 1 week. After a week of that, I was like, I'm all set with these noodles, with this meal. And so last week it was, so I was taking the turkey meat and using Trader Joe's enchilada sauce and then fat-free cheese. And so that was really good. Now I did use those egg life wraps, but I just used it as one. And so I took the one wrap and I melted the cheese onto that. And then I put the turkey meat on top of that. So that's what I mean, like by switching things up, but still having those basics. And when you pre-log that into MyFitnessPal, you're not guessing, you're not winging it, right? Everything was planned in advance, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, you just open your tracker and you just eat what's there, right? Nothing is left up to interpretation. And again, and like part 2 of that, which I've already touched on, is like just keeping your food boring and simple, right? Like the same 3 meals on repeat. Now, I did have different breakfasts. Like I would have egg whites. Sometimes I would use the fat-free cheese for that. I would change out my vegetables that I would put into my egg whites. So either spinach or asparagus and sometimes broccoli I would put into that. And then that was like my main breakfast. And then I had also yogurt. So I always do a little bit of Greek yogurt with a little bit of protein powder and then berries. Like I mix that up. It was just like lesser quantities for me, but you know what? I still have that to this day. From the very first time that I discovered like, hey, put your protein powder into a serving of Greek yogurt. Right now I'm digging the Oikos, like that vanilla Greek yogurt. Freaking love that stuff with a scoop. Right now I have switched out to, I was having the chocolate, I think Optimized Nutrition from Costco, whatever the one from Costco was, but I found a cleaner one and I think it's called Simple Clean Eats. It's unflavored protein powder. It's not my favorite tasting, but it has the best macros. It is 25 grams of protein, 100 calories. And because I'm on pretty low calories, I want to make sure that I'm not having extra calories. So that chocolate one had, I think it's 130 calories and only 24 grams of protein. So there was a little bit of extra stuff in there. So that's why I switched over to that. And then I am just like mashing up berries in that. But I still to this day, right? That's when I first started mixing that together. I would have the Greek yogurt with a scoop of the Quest salted caramel. You've probably heard me talk about this. And then I would do the Dole unsweetened pineapple or it's like no sugar added. And so I would just put all of that in. So when you're mixing the protein powder in with the Greek yogurt, you have to put some liquid in there, right? You have to, otherwise this is going to be this blob. And so those cups were like the perfect amount of liquid to mix in. It was like a parfait. So I still enjoy that to this day because why? Are you kidding? 42 grams of protein, right? Like right off the top. So heck yeah. But it's really just having those things. I call those the go-to meals. Like for me, my go-to meal is tuna, like a tuna bacon melt. So I'll take tuna, mix it with the mayo. I have to have the bacon pre-cooked. I don't buy the pre-cooked bacon, but I will cook a bunch of bacon at one time so that I have it available. So that's what I mean by pre-cooked. It's already cooked. And then cheese. And so for the longest time, like that was like, and still is one of my staple meals. Now I will say on this protocol, I am not having the bacon or the cheese or the bread, to be honest. So I am having turkey. We already talked about the turkey, but tuna, and I'm just mixing that with a little bit of cottage cheese. I know that sounds weird. And somebody had mentioned that a couple of years ago. I'm like, I don't know. That sounds just gross. And then I tried it. So what I do is I just take the whole can of tuna, the one that has 29 grams of protein in it, and then I will add half a serving of the cottage cheese, and that's like what I'm mixing it with. And then I put in dehydrated onion, which I love that. I use that, like that minced onion, a lot. And then dillweed. So I put that in there. And so that's like what I will have like on a salad with some lettuce, tomato, and cucumber, or I'll just put that on the side, or I'll just take a piece of bread and cut that in half and have it like that. Like when you're on triple digit calories, you have to be creative, but I still enjoy those meals. Now, yes, I would love to have some bacon and cheese on there, but there's going to be a time for that. So when you're being aggressive with this and having high impact fat loss, like there's going to be some concessions that you have to make. Again, this is not a lifestyle. Right? This is very much focused. These are the parameters. So for me, I want to make sure I'm hitting my protein goals. And then I have carb and a fat threshold. I will say fat is very low so that I can make room for carbs. So that's where, bye-bye bacon, bye-bye cheese, and leaning towards more of those lean meats. Now, I will say, I have not had one freaking chicken breast this entire time. So I've been doing this for 3 weeks. I have not had one chicken breast. For me, I have to have, if I'm going to have chicken breast, I need sauce, I need cheese, I need pasta, I need rice, I need something like that. And so I have been leaning more towards the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They don't have a ton of fat, but it's just more flavor. And so I've been enjoying that. I think I did on my first week, I mixed it with some mustard, and then I was doing that with mustard and tarragon over like those egg noodle things. But I think I'm over the egg noodle things for this week. I'll just use it as a wrap. And then the chicken thighs, I know what I bought. I bought the konjac noodles this week. So those are like 10 calories and like a package of those noodles. I think you could find those as like miracle noodles or something like that. Again, there's like the pasta aisle, and then there's the weird stuff pasta aisle that has those things available. And then I will probably, I haven't decided yet, but I did find a kind of a lower calorie tomato sauce that is decent. It is 35 calories. Here's the thing, like the gravy and the enchilada sauce and the pasta sauce, these are all 35 calories in one serving. A quarter of a cup of Trader Joe's enchilada sauce is, I believe that's only 30 calories. And then a serving, quarter cup of Heinz turkey gravy or beef gravy or whatever, right? I just get the stuff in the jar. I'm not making my own gravy. Come on, get out of here. But again, like 35 calories in a serving. So I will say, I will take a whole pound of the 99% turkey, and then I'll put 3 servings of the gravy in there just to make it a little bit like extra saucy. I think the tomato sauce, like it just gets, I didn't have to do 3 servings in the tomato sauce, and I did not have to do 3 servings. 2 servings in, so now I'm getting confusing. So I'm taking the whole pound of the turkey meat. I am eating half of that. So I'm going to put in 2 servings of the enchilada sauce. So I'm going to be accounting for one of those servings. Same with the tomato sauce. I just found like with the gravy, I want it to be a little bit more saucy. So hopefully that makes sense. That's how I'm getting, guys, like 62 grams of protein in some of these meals, is because turkey, like 99% fat-free ground turkey, is 56 grams, or I should say 28 grams of protein in 4 servings, 56 in 2, for 240 calories. So you just cannot beat that. You really can't. Putting these meals on the repeat, just changing out the sauces and changing out the flavors. And this is how you're going to get those fast results. This is how I was able to lose over 2 pounds a week. This is how my clients, they're losing anywhere from 5 to 7 pounds in 2 weeks. Jennifer lost 6.5 pounds. Angie's already lost 6 pounds this week. So she's cruising. But another thing is not eating out, right? I have not been to a restaurant once, except for yesterday, which was a snafu for sure. But up until that, and I knew it, right? And I talk about this in my behind the scenes group. I did go out, and I was not going out to eat. Trust me, I was not going out to eat. There was a band. It was Sunday afternoon. And yes, There was a glass of wine or two involved, which was not off on the plan, but that's not what I wanted to talk to. I did go over that in my private Facebook group. If you want to follow that journey, I'm talking all about my quest on this 8-week getting photo shoot ready. But you're not eating out at all, right? There's just it's really hard to track those meals. So again, triple digits, right? I am going to make sure that I'm just having all of my stuff at home so that I know exactly what I'm having. Restaurant meals are not your friend in this phase. The calories are they're unpredictable. Portions can be huge, and you can literally undo an entire week of progress with just one meal when you're using an approach like this. So save the dinners out for after this sprint, right? This is very much a balls to the wall, very focused. And I will say for my clients that I am taking definitely a high impact fat loss approach where I'm just going a little bit longer into these phases. I did just have, I would say last weekend I had a 3-day refeed just to restore the glycogen stores. I'm having another refeed this weekend, but it's just going to be to maintenance calories, nothing crazy. But you can save those dinners, right? Save the nights out for after this phase, right? You have to be very focused on the results that you want. I shouldn't even say that. Just this is the process and you're going to get to the results. And so that's it. Pre-log everything, repeat your meals, and no eating out. And that's how you're going to be successful when you use an approach like this. Now, it might not sound sexy, but it does absolutely work. And I love these approaches because, again, for 2 weeks, you're going to get fantastic results. Now, for my clients in the rapid fat loss protocol, and I have done this as well, we start at low calories and then we go ascending. So it gets way easier. So you actually could incorporate possibly you could incorporate a night out. But I will say, my clients that have been the most successful, they had planned absolutely not to do anything like that, and they're taking their bumps. So some could start in triple digits, but some will end up at 1,600 calories towards the end. And so that's plenty of calories available to you. And so they're not starving. And that is the best thing about taking this approach. They have a choice of if they're going to increase their calories on day 6. So we take increases, and then sometimes they might stay at the lower calories on that second bump, but they have that available to them. So Angie was like, you know what? I wasn't going to take my higher calories, but because she was a weekend, and she's like, but we have this event going on. It's not like we're going out or anything. She was going riding with some friends, but she's like, I just want a little bit more flexibility. And so you can have a little bit of that in this approach as well. But this is the crux of what it looks like to just be dialed in. This is not how my clients are getting the bulk of the results. Yes, we're taking off 5 to 7 pounds, but this is also, I will say, this is not what you do the whole time, right? So we're definitely more of a moderate fat loss where we can have alcohol, we can go out to nights, go out on date nights, we can go out to restaurants, have nice meals, have nice things, but we're looking at a slower approach. And this is where we incorporate the lifestyle in. And I will say that using this rapid fat loss approach, it kind of highlights where some of our calories are coming from, where we could be taking some of those calories. I know for me, very much, I have curbed my cream intake in my coffee. So a good amount of calories was coming from that, anywhere from 50 to 100 calories a day. So I've eliminated that. That was an easy swap. But also my 2 o'clock popcorn in my chocolate fix, I am not having that right now. I haven't had any popcorn. I haven't had any chocolate in this 3 weeks. And I don't have the cravings for that anymore either. So literally it was 2 o'clock. It's, hey, it's time for some popcorn. It's time for some chocolate, just because I created that habit for myself. And so now I don't have that cue anymore. So it's very interesting, the things that you learn about yourself and where you see some of those calories adding up. So a lot of times this could be say in your office and you have that There's the girl that always has the M&Ms on her desk, and you don't have those M&Ms on your desk, but you'll go buy hers and just have a couple. It's those little things that add up. The situation is different for everybody, but I hope this is helpful for you. And then if you have any questions about it, please reach out and let me know. If this is an approach that you would like to take, then I will say that most of my clients, they're with us anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and they might do this approach, what I just talked about, like a rapid fat loss approach. It's so helpful to kick off a fat loss phase, all right? So once you get everything, we start off in a maintenance phase, right? This could be anywhere from 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. We wanna make sure we're hitting certain markers and that we're ready to go into this rapid fat loss approach, if this is the approach that you want to take. And then, do we have the time? Do we have this cleared off on our schedule? So I will tell you, the next one that we're going to do for our clients is going to be on May 30th, and then we're going to conclude on the Friday right before Father's Day. And like when I looked at May was crazy as far as you got Mother's Day, and then you had Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, there's just not a good time for us to do this as a group in in May. So I figured that one out in June, and that was just like the timing on that. But we do it as a group. It's fun to do it as a group, but I've also had clients do it on their own as well. Jennifer, she did hers on her own. Angie did hers on her own. This is a very effective protocol, but again, it's not a lifestyle, but it will teach you some lifestyle habits. So if you are interested in taking an approach that works, and losing that weight and keeping it off, guys, these ladies, they're not gaining that weight back after they lose it. They definitely are not. We do have a few spots available for coaching, and just reach out to me. You can just book a call in with me if you want to talk about how this approach would work for you. I also have a fat loss predictor form that will show you like how much weight you can lose. I run it through the calculator and then show you what that looks like. But I would highly recommend, for my clients, I don't recommend that they go that more aggressive route like what I'm taking. I recommend that you do this 2-week rapid fat loss. It's just a lot easier to stick to. It actually does work into lifestyle a lot easier than more of an aggressive approach. I can send you the form so that you can see like how much would be possible for you to lose each week. Reach out to me either on Instagram or Facebook, or you can send me an email and I will send you the link to that form and then give you the feedback on that. Thank you so much for listening. If you know anybody that would benefit from this information, then please share that with them. I would appreciate that. And then I will talk to you on Thursday. Bye.